So Destiny did an interview with the Dear Future Wifey podcast. To me, Destiny is still talking in circles. She said her divorce is still going on in 2024, although she was divorced in 2018. And we find out that the husband reopens the divorce case to file contempt request. I'm going to have to research that. I'm not understanding. But she also said that you can, reopen the case if you want to, what's the word? Modify something. Destiny said she did not ask for child support. She just wanted out of the marriage and gave him everything he asked for, including the silverware. But the question should have been, why did he want a divorce? She said that what she was charged with mostly is punitive issues where he holds her in contempt and put her in jail because she do interviews talking about her ex-husband, which is not in the divorce decree. But she only agreed to not talk about him on the show Love and Marriage Huntsville. So why is the judge upholding these contempts? Confused. She said she feels like she's being abused financially and her ex is using the judicial system. She claims that she refinanced the home that they lived in because she requested that he pay the mortgage for a year so that she could refinance the home and the home would become hers. But when she was able to refinance, he wouldn't give her the mortgage statement. I have to do a little research on that because I can't see a company refinancing for you, going through the works of refinancing and not knowing that all your paperwork is together. Because don't you have to have all the paperwork before it goes to underwriting? I'm just asking a question. So Destiny lets us know that she found out she was on Crime Stoppers by getting a phone call from Martell. She said Martell was pissed and wanted to know if she was all right. She said she didn't believe him. She actually hung up the phone on him. So the host asked her, how did you get on Crime Stoppers? She said, he must know somebody to get me on Crime Stoppers because this only was 4 days and I was on Crime Stoppers. Destiny made it seem like she was raised in the foster care system. But when she was on Love and Marriage Huntsville, but here she said that she was taken away from her mother at 4, stayed in the foster system for 1 year, and then was given to her father's mother while the father fought for custody for her. Now, I ain't discrediting her for saying she grew up in the foster system, but you didn't grow up. You only spent a year in the foster system because your father raised you from there. Now, am I missing something? Y'all let me know in the comments. I only ask because I know people who grew up in the foster system, okay? Different foster homes in the system till they aged out. So you got to represent this the right way. I mean, no time in the foster system is a good time. But if you're going to tell your story, tell it the right way from the jump. Don't be changing it in the middle. Destiny says she turned herself in and the charges was forgery in the third. They said she forged her ex's name on a utility contract. She said she do not have any utility bills in his name, only in her name. Now, see, I have so many questions. Yeah, it would be in your name, but did you need a co-signer to get that utility bill turned on? I'm just asking, because all of a sudden she couldn't talk about the case anymore. I mean, I just can't see nobody pressing charges for you signing their name, doing forgery, and they don't have proof. The guest wants to know, how did this happen, and how did the hate happen that you would get your child's mother locked up? She said all the time she picked up the phone for domestic situations, but she couldn't do it because she was protecting him. She said she was amused by her ex. She said her ex seeks pleasure in her pain. Now, is it me, or that sound like something Martell would say too? Mm-hmm. That's one of Martell's talking points. She has old traumas from the marriage and felt she was not protected by her husband. Listen, I ain't saying that her points ain't valid about feeling protected. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying that at all. But didn't Mel say the same thing? And Martell mentioned it while they was at tea. Child, I don't trust it. She said because she didn't name her son a junior, she had to pay a $20,000 hospital bill because her husband at the time would not put her on her insurance. Now, to me, none of that makes sense. So what about the doctor visits before you had the baby? Who paid that? Because you got up in here and said you made more money than him. I'm just saying. Girl. So Destiny gives all these things about, it was good in the beginning of their relationship. And she saw that he was a caretaker for his grandparents. And that's what got her. But when they got married, it was totally different. Then she says a therapist told her that he can't give you love. She said her ex was abusive. And the therapist told her if she don't leave, he will unalive her. I ain't saying she wasn't in that situation. But why did he have to divorce you? If you wasn't feeling protected and he was abusive, why did he have to divorce you? Weeks or days after you had your baby? This story not adding up. There's just a whole lot of missing pieces to this story she telling. So she said she was caught up in her ex potential and watched him be a caregiver. I mentioned that earlier. So she said she tell all women not to fall in love with the potential. Like, it was so much left out of her doing this interview. Like, the timelines wasn't timelining, in my opinion. So she then goes on to talk about her other ex, not her ex-husband, but her other ex, Moses, who ended up marrying a producer that was her producer while she was on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She said, you confide in these producers. She said even after the lady left the show, they became friends. She said the lady told her that Moses was her cousin, and to find out that they were married, she felt betrayed. She said she knew Moses 15 years. If you knew Moses for 15 years and you ain't know that he had this cousin, just like Martell knew you. But anyway, I'm confused. That was the setup, girl. They smile in your face and then they take your man. Anyway, this interview left me with more questions than answers. She talked in circles. It was a lot of woe is me. Like, at what point are you going to take accountability in any of the situations you spoke about, aside from your childhood? Another thing that kind of disturbed me was at the end when the host wanted to pray. He asked her to pray, and all she could do was say, Lord, fix it. Like, to me, it seems like everything's a joke to Destiny. So the host goes in and he's saying his prayer, and he was like, basically, he hope it can be fixed and that she can have a good co-parenting situation. You don't got to call her. She goes, please don't. In a serious moment, she wants to joke. I think this interview was very strategic. She feels like Moses and that other lady, whatever her name is, are using her as a storyline. Storyline for what, though? Because they ain't on no show. Are they on the show? Y'all let me know down below. But it seems very strategic, is all I'm going to say. That's all I got, y'all. Let's discuss this in the comment section. I can't even talk about her no more.